This is my 49 Willys pickup, and I just finished a full restoration on this truck. Now, when I say finished, I think everybody understands you never really finished, and this one is no different. I've got a punch list, and so today I want to hit one of the items on my punch list. Now this is the list, and we're going straight to the bottom. I actually just added this item, exhaust. It needs work. It actually sounds decent, but it's a little bit loud for my liking, and it really didn't hit me until I had driven this thing for a little bit. I want you to take a listen to this before we do any work. It's pretty loud. Hopefully you can hear me over this. It's actually not that bad at idle, but when I get going down the road, now I've driven about 45 miles, something like that so far since I finished this work. And when I got out on the open road is when I really noticed the noise on this thing, and I'd like to do something about that. Okay, this is my existing exhaust system, and it was really put together with some new pieces and some existing pieces that I had on the truck. So we start with the pipe. This first pipe comes down off of the exhaust manifold, and it comes to right here. And then this next pipe that runs to the muffler was already with the truck, and actually it's in nice shape. So I decided to shoot it with some high temp paint and go ahead and use it. Next component here is this muffler. It's about 2 feet long. And again, that was in, I thought, good enough shape to go ahead and use. And I think it's a straight through muffler. I think that's part of why it's kind of loud. It almost looks like a tractor muffler. And then the last piece here is something I added, and it's just a little turnout. And that's kind of where things end. And as you can see, we are just in front of the rear wheel with this. So here's my plan. I think we're good all the way up to the muffler. So all I really want to do is replace that straight through muffler with a baffled muffler. And then I want to put a proper tailpipe that comes out up and over the rear axle and then kicks out right back on this corner. So let me show you what we're going to do with that. So my plan is to replace that muffler and a turnout. So I started by tracking down a muffler. Now this is a Walker. The number on it is 17899, and I just went out to their site and I looked for a baffled muffler, basically not a straight through. I wanted one that had 1 3/4 inner diameter inlet and outlet, and that's what I have here. And this one, based on the arrow there, this can go either way. I think I'm going to mount it this way because it's got a nice bracket there that I can hook my muffler hanger to. And so this is a Walker ProFit muffler, and it's supposed to be, close to factory. So I expect this to be a lot quieter. Now, as far as tailpipe goes, I can't buy a full-length tailpipe anywhere that I've looked. So what I'm going to do is have the guys that made that other pipe, that front pipe for me, have them make a custom tailpipe for me. When I had this pipe made, all I did was took the old rotted out pipe and brought it in and said, can you duplicate this? And that's exactly what they did. And if I remember, I don't think the price of this pipe was maybe $30, somewhere in there. It was pretty reasonable. So my approach this time, though, since I don't have a tailpipe, was to make up something as a template that they could follow. So I grabbed some steel rod and I crawled underneath the truck and I bent it up into the shape that I needed with the right length and everything else. And what I'll do is bring this steel rod into them and see if they can work off of this, if this gives them enough information to put the right bends in. So I'm going to run this into the shop. We'll find out how much it costs and I'll be back. So I'm back with my tailpipe. I put it right next to the template. They did a nice job of getting that thing bent up. The other thing they did was this muffler. I ordered it when it got shipped to me. It had some dings in here where this was kind of bent down. So they cleaned that up so that these two would fit together properly. So the price for this pipe that's about 7.5 feet long, $40. So how can you beat that? MG exhaust out of St. Cloud. Nice job. Before I start replacing any components, I want to baseline this. So I'm going to get a sound meter and I'm going to take a listen to this thing at idle and then maybe on mid throttle and then a little bit higher throttle. And then let's see what difference it makes when we put the new system on. All right, it's out with the old, in with the new. I took a look at this pipe right here, and although it's in decent shape, I don't like the angle in it. It doesn't seem like it's going to line up right. So I think I'm going to replace that with a piece of straight pipe. All right, let me show you another reason that I decided to replace this piece with a straight pipe. This is my pipe that comes from the exhaust manifold. And this, I think, is 1.5 inches. It goes to 1 3/4. And these have never fit well. You can see it's actually kind of flared where they come together. So that's no good. And it was leaking when I first put the original system together. And my solution at that time was JB Weld muffler seal. So I gooped that stuff in here and it did plug it up and it didn't leak, but I just never liked the fit on these things. And I think that JB Weld stuff eventually would have to dry out and probably bust out of there. So I think the best solution here is to get that straight pipe in and put a nice weld joint on these. So my approach on this one is I've got the system laid out here. I'm going to blow it apart. And I'm going to put it together underneath the truck. I'm going to bungee it in place, figure out what length I need for this front pipe. I'll get these fitted. And once I know exactly where things are going to land, at that point, then I can start looking at, I've got a mount that's going to go about here. There's one here, and I'll put one somewhere down here. So 3 of them ought to be enough to support this nicely. I'm going to try to give you a shot underneath. I'm working off the floor, so can't get the best shots here. So I've got it roughly where it goes. I'll show you where the tailpipe kicks out in a minute. Got our muffler here. Got our pipe up here, and then I'll run up and show you that too. Now it's hanging a little lower than it would, but I just wanted to at least get everything kind of length fit in here to begin with. Now let's take a look at this front pipe and I'll show you what I want to do. All right, you see how that front pipe, this guy right here, it kind of kicks out to this side a little bit and it's got a bend just right up near that cross member. And what I think I want to do is cut this shorter pipe off up there, weld this one in so I've got a nice straight shot, and I think that'll get me right to where I want to be with that muffler. The nice thing about something coming off a fresh restoration is nothing is rusted together. So I'm going to pull this, oops, let's get this over here. I'm going to pull this front pipe off so that we can work on it. I marked these pipes right where I want them to join. So I'm going to cut these. I think I'll cut this one a little bit long so it slips inside here, and then I'll just weld this up. Clean that out, but those will go together just like that. So one of the things I didn't like about even my old setup, because I just had these pieces clamped together, but it's kind of loose in there. That's why welding this is really going to solve the problem, but I would like this to at least be centered in this pipe. So what I'm going to do is get some painter's tape and just wrap this a couple times so I get a little bit snugger fit and I can kind of space it. And that stuff will just burn off when it heats up anyway. Okay, I'm going to start by just tacking this in place. I'll maybe do it on two sides. I'll put it in, fit it up, make sure it's how I like it. Then I can take it back out and fully weld it. I think two more will do it. All right, let's follow this all the way down. So we've got our front pipe right here, and then my welded joint. Got the straight pipe to the muffler. Step back here. And we've got one hanger on the front there, right here. And we move on. This is where the tailpipe joins. We've got another hanger right here. And we go up and over the rear axle and out that back corner. All right, and that's where our tailpipe exits, and we've got one more hanger back here in this corner. Well, the decibel meter doesn't lie, and I think the sound level is actually probably the same. But here's the difference. The tone is a little bit quieter, I would say, just a little bit, maybe an octave lower. And the other big difference is before that pipe was right this far behind the cab and it was pointed straight down, doing like a 90-degree curve and bounce right off the pavement. And I think that created a lot of noise. Difference now is we've got the noise all the way moved back here and it's shooting straight out. So it still accomplishes what I wanted to. Did I expect it to be whisper quiet? No. There's still a lot of mechanical noise between the engine and the transmission and things like that as well. But it is a lot quieter and I'm happy with the result. So I want to thank you for watching. And as I continue to work on my punch list, I'll keep posting more videos.